Namaste. So yesterday I've completely failed to take my iPad to the studio, and I normally teach Blissful Flow and Gentle back to back. Um, I was a little scatterbrained yesterday morning after all the storms that we had Sunday night, and I had several Reiki appointments that day, and I was, trying to take my massage table to the studio, and I guess my mind was more about, getting all those things together for the Reiki. And then I forgot about the yoga piece of recording. So my apologies. I did just send out a gentle flow on Sunday. So hopefully you were able to use that yesterday. However, if you did not, this is going to be a blissful flow practice. However, if you're doing more of a gentle practice, I would say start off with doing the moon salutation with us that we're going to start off with. You can alter the vinyasa to be down dog to child's pose or down dog to plank versus the vinyasas. And then once we go through the moon salutation piece, we'll go back into a Surya Namaskara, a sun salutation, building up to different side angle poses for a fancy kind of peak pose at the end. So with that being said, once we get to those sun salutations, I would suggest backing off from the practice at that point. And you could either take a long shavasana or grab some props and do something restorative in its place. Okay. So over this past weekend, we had a solar eclipse. And I know I post these on the YouTube channel months later. So if you're getting this later, you can skip over this piece. But actually don't skip over this piece, because with the eclipses that come, we may not actually see the changeover that happens until maybe 3 months down the road. So actually this is going to be pertainable to you even if you watch this, say, let's see, December, January, late February, early March. Okay, you can still get something from this. So with Vedic astrology stems from India, and they say the sign was in Scorpio. So we had a new moon solar eclipse. It happened near Antarctica, or at least the showing of it was, and it still affected the whole planet. And with Vedic astrology, they say it's in Scorpio. Scorpio is about transformation. It's about sudden changes. And when I mentioned this yesterday, somebody spoke up and said, oh my goodness, everyone in my family just had immediate sudden changes actually occur. But like I said, it may not happen for a few weeks, a month, 2 months, even 3 months down the line, because everyone's different and everyone evolves at a different level. And it's like playing chess. You got to get all your pieces into place before that turnover may happen. Now, with both Western and Vedic astrology, they are saying this is about karmic endings. Okay. So Western astrology says it's in Sagittarius. Think about Sagittarius having the bow, and they're telling us to think about where we're aiming our arrow, where we want to go in the future weeks, months, or years, because it's about manifestation time. Now, this is also about epic changes as well as karmic endings. So that's really good. Now, I was listening to a Western astrologer talk a little bit more about this particular eclipse, and it really highlighted something a little bit more in detail that I wanted to share with you. So she was saying that if you look back on 2020 and now coming into 2021, if you have felt stuck or stagnant, if you have felt like you've been in a holding pattern, if you've been feeling like something in your life or something energetically has been caged, this is a good moment to think of the eclipse bringing and ushering in this energy that can break us out of that cycle. Now, I don't know about you, but I have definitely felt like I was in a holding pattern. I have definitely felt stuck, even though people on the outside don't necessarily see that. After losing the business, I've been trying my hand at many things. I closed half moon and started working for 4 studios, 2 of which have already shut down. And then I ended up leaving one and going all online. And now I'm at another. So now I'm trying to balance an online studio and then working at 2 studios. I've still been doing retreats. I've been doing teacher training. One teacher training happened, and another teaching training, we didn't have anyone sign up. So I feel like I'm constantly like scrambling, and I feel like I take 2 steps forward and then I just slide way back. And this is what the astrologer's talking about. She was like, if you've been feeling like since 2020, you've been in this pattern, this cycle that you can't just break free from, and it's just not coasting easily, that this is a good thing with the eclipse, that it's going to start to push and move us forward and might actually change our trajectory or even change our direction, as well as open up new opportunities. And they were also talking about relationships that have maybe suddenly ended, or relationships that karmically ran their cycle and the account is balanced and they've left your life. This is also about the fact that everyone has been going through a lot of these downloads and a lot of this healing. And there's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of this healing. And so some people that we may have separated away from may actually create a resurgence, and then there could be a reconnection. So I don't know. Let's see what happens. So we're going to do a combination of a moon sow and a sun sow today, since it was the eclipse, to bring in these different elements. And I would suggest maybe having a couple blocks just in case you need them. And I'll meet you on that. So let's go ahead and start in a supine position with the soles of the feet together and the head back and the hands on the belly. So leading up to the pose today, we're going to need the openness of the hips and the stretch in the inner thighs. But if this is already too much for your body, right, and you need it to be more gentle, please place the blocks under your knees or thighs and just make it more restorative, remembering these blocks can turn up or down at different heights. Okay. Close your eyes. Please also remember, if the sensation becomes too much, if you're not using props, you can always slide your feet slightly forward and give your body some relief. For now, I want you to focus on just feeling the ground beneath your body. Perhaps your head and your upper back feel a little bit heavier than the sacrum or the heels. It may be very similar, or you may have the opposite. Just notice. So building a state of mindfulness is important for the practice. Focusing on one thing at a time, the present moment. Once you've connected to these areas, focus on your belly rising and falling as you breathe. The belly ballooning up into the hands on the in-breath. Retracting away from the hands on the out-breath. Take a few more. We've created the lower wings of the butterfly. Now we're going to create the upper wings by lacing the hands together and placing them under the head. And then I want you to notice what has changed. For instance, I feel more sensation that has piped up in the hips. I feel a stretch through the abdomen, elongation in the side waist, an upliftment in the chest. Even though the belly will still bellow as you breathe, I want you to focus more on breathing into your chest. Feeling your chest fill out on your in-breath, deflating down the out-breath. Your next inhale, let's go ahead and flutter the knees back up. Release your hands and bring them to wrap around in the front of the legs. And if that's too much flexion for your knees, you can always take your hands behind your thighs. Affirming here as you hold, I release my scattered forces to rise up and away into the sky. I release any caged or stuck energy to rise up and away into the sky. I release any old or negative karmic patterns from my mind, body, and spirit. And settle the feet back to the floor. We'll roll to one side. We're going to come all the way up. Now this is where we're actually going to come up to stand. I would maybe suggest, since we're doing a little bit of a moon sow, to turn your mat this direction, or to turn whatever device you're using to face you, so that you have the mat turned this direction. And then come to one side of your mat, ground and root your feet. Bring your hands to Namaste at the heart. And then as you inhale, circle the arms up. Lace your fingers together to this Jupiter Mudra. Shoulders lifting firmly towards the ears. Arms hugging the sides of the head. Feet lodging down into the floor and curve to your left. Chandrasana, crescent moon. Inhale back to the top. Exhale, curve to the right. Inhale back up. Exhale, you're going to step off to face me. And your feet are turned away from your midline. Your thighs are rolling open. And you're going to go ahead and come down and rest on the fingertips. Now notice my hips aren't way up. I'm getting my hips probably about the same height as my shoulders here. That way I'm getting into the hip structure a little bit more. Keep the torso parallel to the ground. If you're wanting to amp it up a little bit, you can always elevate your heels. Not so gentle. Make sure you're not putting too much weight in your hands. They're just here to help you balance. The weight is really residing in the feet. On your next exhalation, sink the feet down to the floor. Bring one arm over to rest on your thigh and reach the other one up towards the sky. So you're creating a twist. Now we're going to be doing hasta drishti, gazing towards the hand. And as you exhale, you're going to sweep the hand down towards the opposite foot. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring it down. Feel free to practice that Ujjayi breath. Smooth and rhythmic. One more. This time, inhale. When you lift that arm back up, you're going to bring it through center. Take it to the other side, but let the arm hang free. And then inhale, turning the belly, chest open as the arm flares upward. And exhale, bringing it down. Continue that flow. One. Bring it up, hands to prayer position at the heart. Turn your heels back behind your toes. Straighten out through your legs. Now we're going to rotate the foot where we started. Extend your arms out. Lengthen over it. Windmill down to Uttanasana, triangle pose. Few deep breaths. Burning energy and joy flow down to me. Joy was one of our themes for last week. And hopefully through the month of December, even though it's said to hold a lot of chaotic energy, you will find and do and be with people that help to bring up joy. Energy and joy flow down to me. Now look down at that front foot. You're going to soften the knee in order to spin off your back heel. I'm going to use blocks for this. You don't have to, but you are dialing the back hip forward so that they feel more square and even. This is going to be our inhale with the straight leg. And as we exhale, we're going to lunge the knee. You may have to wiggle the back toes back a little. All right, inhale, straighten and structure the front leg. Exhale, lunge the knee. Flow a couple more times. This time when you re-straighten this style of standing split, you can fold over and let go. Next, exhale, lunge the front knee, spin down to the back heel. Bring the blocks with you if you choose to use them. Your right foot will turn to the corner of the mat. Now you don't want to be this way. You want the torso to be this way. So see there's space between the inner thigh and the waist. Make sure that knee is tracking towards the center of the foot. Now, again, you may or may not want blocks. I'm going to use them today. Inhale, you're lifting the hips. And exhale, you're coming right back to Skandasana, same side. Pulsing as you breathe. Now, walk the blocks through the middle. Turn your feet to be parallel with each other. Determine here, do I want blocks or not? Hands to the hips, come all the way up to stand. We're going to do Prasarita B. So loop your shoulders back, the elbows flare back, and then cinch in here, this upper abdomen, low part of your ribs, and fold. See if it's possible to allow the crown of the head to face the floor. It's okay if you don't have that flexibility, but this will help to refreshen the skin of the face, the eyes, the brain. Inhale, root through the feet. This is where you may want the blocks again. We're going to keep the right foot down, but we're going to turn, or I shouldn't say right or left because I don't know which way you're facing. Turn the other foot towards the corner of the mat and lunge that knee. Skandasana, and then we'll pulse here. Inhale, lifting, and then exhale, coming back to Skandasana. Listen to your breath. Control your breath. And then synchronize the movement with it. From here, we're going to spin around to the other side. And I'm going to turn the blocks up. Because at this point, we're going to straighten the front leg. Now, this back hip has turned open. Dial it on around. You can even check with those hip points to make sure they're level and even. This will also help to create level and even shoulders. All right, let's flow. Exhale, bend the knee. This side's a little bit more open, so I'm going to use the blocks on a lower height. And again, you may not need them at all. Inhale, we're going to hold. And then exhale, you're welcome to fold. Giving ourselves over into the flow of the embrace. When you're ready, you're going to hop the back foot forward and we're going to slowly come to stand. And then because we hop that foot forward, notice how much of an angle it's turned in. So you may want to rotate it out. That way you can have your torso turned my way. Lengthen out through your arms, press out over the front leg. And then exhale, triangle. Notice if you're coming forward, you want to be over the leg and attempt to roll open through your belly and chest. So you're attempting to stack the shoulders. Visualize that top hands like the antenna. Drawing positive energy your way, especially when you're in the higher vibrations. Allowing the law of attraction to work with your energy. Energy, joy, flow down to me. Now we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to lunge that front knee and we're going to step the back foot to join the other. And we're going to fold into Uttanasana. From folding into Uttanasana, you can be as active or as passive with your legs as you choose to be, yin or yang. And this is where we're going to take it through 5 vinyasas. So that's what I'm saying. At this point, if you need to make it gentle, change it up. You could come up and down from a standing position to Uttanasana. You could switch it up and go plank to down dog, or down dog to child's, or tabletop. But I'm going to take you through the vinyasa. So inhale to plank. Exhale to low push-up. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Okay, inhale to plank. Exhale to chaturanga dandasana. Inhale to build up to the heart opening position. And exhale, roll it back. So depending upon what you're doing, do 3 more. Don't rush it. Let's all meet in downward facing dog. Bringing the feet towards the hands, holding down, Uttanasana. Nodding the head, loosening the neck, wiggling the shoulders. Inhale, coming up to stand. Jupiter Mudra with your hands. Pointer fingers reaching upward. Exhale, curve to the right. Maybe take it deeper if that's in your wheelhouse. Inhale to the top. Exhale to the other. Maybe a bit deeper if it doesn't prohibit your breath. Inhale through the top. Exhale, turn back my direction. Cali, goddess pose. So once your feet are positioned correctly, you've got the external rotation of the hips, bring the hands down. Make sure the hips, again, are lowered. Amp it up if you prefer. Heels elevated. Again, little weight on the fingertips. They're just basically helping you to balance. Set the heels down, cross over to one side, and open back into that twist. Except we're going to take the arm over the side of the ear, a little bit more of a side bend. Cup a hold of the back side of your head, and then draw the heart upward. Bring it through center. Take it to the other. Arm over the ear. Hand behind the head. Pivot open. Breathe. Come through center. Twist to one side. One arm behind the back, one hand over to the knee. And yesterday I was seeing people at the studio pull over to the knee. You don't need to. So you want to keep your head and heart in between the legs. Switch to the other side. Hands to prayer. All right, turn your heels back behind your toes. Whew. Foot's gonna turn. Arms are gonna lengthen. Triangle pose. Top, you might be able to go deeper. Top hand is gonna turn around. Loop that arm behind your back. Breathe. If your shoulder's unhappy with this action, don't force it. Never worth an injury. So listen to your body's feedback. You should feel it, but it shouldn't hurt. Release that arm. Bring the hand down. This is where you may want the blocks. All right, similar to what we did before. Exhale, lunge the knee. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lunge the knee. Couple more. Bring the blocks with. Turn that foot to the corner of the mat. Feel free to pulse like we did earlier, or feel free to have a static hold. If you want to go deeper, you're lifting that heel, sitting its direction. Hopefully you can see that without the block. Toes turn up on the other side. Whoa, inner thigh, hamstrings, hello. And if you want to go deeper still, you're spinning the navel and the upper body towards the straight leg. All right, bring the hands back around. Walk it on over to the other side. Again, so the gentle way would be the pulsing, right? So you're not holding it in a static way. But, you know, if you're wanting more of a blissful practice, the name can be deceiving at times. The blissful part comes in with Ananda Yoga. Ananda Yoga with the spiritual themes, the philosophy, the affirmations, because Ananda means bliss. All right, we're lifting that heel up and going deeper even still if you want this addition. And again, you can also wind your way around and fold over the straight leg. All right. So when you're coming back through, this is where, if you want to be gentle, you may want to sit on a block. Okay, and do your squat this way. And of course, the block can turn different heights. If you're wanting to feed the sensation and really feel the work, then you can descend your tailbone and lift the crown into Malasana. All right, the hands are coming down. And the feet are going to heel toe into that wide stance for Prasarita B. Uttanasana. And again, you can have blocks under the hands, or you can fold and walk your hands back. All right, hands to the hips or waist to really drill those feet down. Drawing through the navel center, come all the way up. All right, triangle to the other side. That foot's going to turn back to where we started. Arms are going to lengthen out. And then take your triangle. Remember, the hand can rest on the shin or a block. You just don't want the hand to come to the inside, and you don't want to shrink where the diaphragm muscle is. So really open and expand through your midriff. Top hand spins, maybe loop it behind your back. So by the way, once we step to the front side of the mat again, if you were planning to do a more gentle practice, then I would say that concludes it. And you can go into your Shavasana or restorative positions. Otherwise, you can stay with me. So we're going to release that arm. Feel free to grab those blocks because we're turning back around. Position to the ball of the back foot. Dial the back hip forward. And when you're ready, a little repetition. And when you're ready, back foot's going to step forward, folding back down. All right, again, this is where gentle splits off. Blissful, stay with me. Hands to the floor, step back plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to down dog. Press into the palms, lengthen through the arms, create space in your spine. And then inhale, lift the right leg up. Take downward scorpion. Maybe drop the head, look up underneath the right arm. When you're ready, establish that right foot to the front of the mat, bury the back heel down. Bring it up to warrior two. Flip the hand, reverse the warrior. Continue to breathe. Exhale, bring it to side angle. And then test the waters. Can you drop the right thigh a little bit extra? Is it possible to bring your right hand to the floor? Just do your best, leave the rest. All right, we're going to spin off the back heel, frame the front foot, take the next vinyasa. I am recalling right now that we did warrior, side angle 3 times before we dropped the hand and held it. But I've already been teaching this morning. I can tell my body's starting to give out, so I'm just doing 1. Let's lift the left leg. Let's take downward scorpion. So I want to be an example to you guys. You got to know your limit. Like I knew I couldn't record 2 classes today, so trying to make it work for both. Now, establish that foot to the front, ground your back foot. Come on up, warrior 2. Flip the front hand, arch it back, hold and breathe. Let your exhale take you to side angle. Drop the left thigh, sink the left hand. Let your left arm keep the knee and hip propped open. Glue down your back foot especially. And then exhale, unwind. Springboard the back foot forward. Fold to self. Inhaling up. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, so in the next sun cell, we're building up to our peak pose. Inhale, let's open and expand. Exhale, let's pour down. Inhale, take your plank. Exhale to low push-up. Inhale to up. Exhale to down dog. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, downward scorpion. Unwind, step the right foot through. Lower the back knee down. All right, now notice this left shin and foot. I'm gonna kind of cast it back, okay? And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. So remember we had the hand down and the arm straight before. So what we're doing here is we're buckling the arm and dropping the shoulder. And then this space between the index finger and the thumb is going to hold the heel, not really hold the heel, but frame the heel. Your left hand will find the ball of the foot or the toes. You'll elevate the foot off the floor and roll open into the twist, side stretch. Breathe. Fancy peak pose. And when you need to come down, bring it down. Okay? Shift the shin back. We did the full version of that last week. Oh, it's nice to get into the psoas here a moment. Let's just do that. That's not an area we've really targeted today. All right, if you want the next vinyasa, take it. I've done too much. So if you step to plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog, I'll meet you in down dog. If you want to join me, I'm just sliding the right knee back. I'm going to position my hands. I'm going to curl the toes and go right into down dog. Know your limits. I'm giving you time to catch up with me here. All right, now that we're in down dog, left leg lifts. Let's strike downward scorpion. Unroll and establish that foot at the front of the mat. You're in that low lunge before you set the knee down. The right foot's gonna go back behind. The left hand comes to the inside, but remember we sink down in order to flatten the hand, thumbs right behind the heel of the foot. And then you can lift the toes, take your right hand to grab a hold, straighten out the leg, roll that right shoulder back, look up underneath. Breathe. When you need to come out, lower the foot, return the right shin behind you, reframe the foot. Ooh, that was a lot. Okay, bring the knee back, the arms back, take child's. Drop into yourself, drop into your heart, drop into your mind's eye. Release and relax now from all outer involvements into my own inner haven of peace. Slide the hands in. So then we come up. Move to one hip. We're going to circle around onto the back. Crossing the right leg over the left. Pick up the left foot and hug in. Arms open wide, roll to your left. Slide onto the inside of the right foot if that doesn't aggravate the low back. If it aggravates the low back, you can use your right foot as a kickstand to keep the knees elevated higher. And then try to lay out onto the right shoulder blade if possible. Inhale, turn the knees up. Uncross the legs. Cross the other way. Pick up the right foot. Hug it in. You want to make sure you're not curling the buttocks off the floor. That can really, I didn't even feel good when I tried to demo it. Ooh, it can really be too much for low back. I see that a lot in class. And maybe they don't feel the strain that my back feels when I do that. Open your arms. Roll the knees to the right. Sliding onto the inside of the left foot or using that foot like a kickstand to keep the knees higher. Trying to spin down to the left shoulder blade. Unwind, uncross, reset the back, take happy baby pose. And if your hips are like, okay, Robbie, we have done enough squats, enough hip openers, then just do the more simplistic one, wind release. In fact, this feels better to me in the moment, so I'm staying here with you. So we are ready for our relaxation. So if you want to gather any props, you can. I'm just going to take pentacle pose. I'll give you time to figure out what you deserve or what you need, or what you're intuitively drawn to. Check in with your body temp. I know that typically doing yoga in your home is cooler than doing it in studio. usually just because of the body heat alone from more people being in the space. And we generally have it, or at least I have it about 75 degrees in the studio. Sometimes 80. But if you're feeling chilled, I would suggest more clothing or a nice plush blanket to hold your heat in. It's hard to relax when you're chilled. Resting and breathing. Breathing your way into bliss. Take 7 more breaths. At the conclusion of your 7, bend the knees. Roll in. Sway side to side. Lower into one. Pressing yourself up to sit. Sitting and breathing. Hands to heart. He's not letting me close out. Oh, the love and the light within me. Hearts and bells to the love and light within you. Namaste.